Yeah, so it was a good investment, Leetness. The blue snowball I've read good things about, and like I said, I have a blue microphone and I've never had a problem. Legion says he wanted to get a camera, but that would be too much to get both a mic and a $100 camera. That's fair enough. I understand that too. The microphone is the most important thing. Over the camera, I would agree. And a green screen. Well, that's the other problem, of course, too. When you start putting a camera into the mix, you don't need a green screen. You can have your background there. That's not a problem. But again, some people don't like to show where they live or their background, so they use a green screen for that. I use a green screen mainly because I find that it frees up more real estate for people to see what I'm doing. Generally, if you've got a camera without a green screen, you're going to have that like square in the corner here. It's going to block a lot of the screen. So I use a green screen so that all of that's free and you can see what's going on in the background. But again, like I said, a microphone is the most important. If you're short of money and you want to stream on Twitch, microphone first, because audio is important. Make sure it's a good quality mic so people don't can stand listening to you and they it doesn't sound terrible for them. After the microphone, a camera, and then after the camera, the green screen. So a green screen can be a bit of a pain to set up though, because the lighting constantly changes, even though I have set lights for my green screen and for me. Depending on the time of day or the cloud cover and the sunshine, I have to adjust my settings in OBS all the time for the green screen, just to make small adjustments here and there because it changes slightly. So having a camera and a green screen can be a bit of a pain, but again, I think people watching you on Twitch like to see you as well. That's just, I find when I'm watching people's streams, I like to see the person that's doing it and is talking. Legion says he has a window behind him and he doesn't want any daylight to screw up the image. Well, that's the problem with a green screen particularly, because any lighting will change the values for the green screen and you'll have to adjust it in OBS or whatever streaming software you use. All the time, depending on the light. And I actually close all my blinds while I stream so that to minimize any effect of any sunlight coming in and changing the settings for my green screen. As long as you light your green screen properly, that's really important too. You should be okay. You shouldn't have to fiddle with it too much. You will have to make small adjustments, like I said, but lighting is really important. When you start using a camera and a green screen, you've got to make sure that you're lighting things properly. The screen behind has to be lit properly, and it always helps if you're lit properly too. I see a lot of guys streaming that look like they're sitting in, I don't know, in a shadow. You know what I mean? Their face is shadowed and dark. It's like they're sitting in a room with no lighting, with no lights on. I'm sure they've got lights, but yeah. If you're going to have a camera, you should do it properly. Don't put a camera on just for the sake of having a camera. Make sure you light it properly. You're lighting yourself properly as well. It's important. But yeah, no, the snowball, like I said, the blue microphones, I've never had a problem with mine, so I'm sure you'll find it good. And dedicated mic is always the way to go. So top rings JPEG. This is already a JPEG. These were the textures we're using for these lamps, and I remember that we already had them as JPEG images. So all we have to do is assign the normal map here. So I just wanted to double check the name of it, and it's called top rings. So again, I'm going to import my normal map. No, that's one of my models that I've got online. Top rings, that's what I've got to remember. Garden Terrace. Finals. Gnarled models. FBX. Angel lamp. Okay. So we're looking for top ring. Inclusion normal. We want the normal map just here. Now that's loaded in our normal map. Highlights. I'm going to change my highlight color here. I'm going to make it more of a white. Yeah, I'll change my highlight color to more of a white. Wasn't sure what View was doing there for a minute. There's no transparency. Come on, View. This is what I mean by this program though. It's a real temperamental. Thank you. Now, I'm going to change my name here as well. When View lets me. See, again, this is why I was saying View version 9 is a real dog to use. We're going to call this top rings. We've used this a couple of times. You see here the rings that are around those decorations as well. On the stairs, use the same texture. So we've got our color map. We've imported our normal map in our bump section. We've changed our highlights to a white. We're doing no transparency, no reflection, no translucency, and no effects here. Now, this is important if you're using Eon View and you're importing normal map. I'm going to select my color texture here, right click, and I'm going to edit the function. And the function editor is what View uses for its material editor and Max. Basically, at the moment, it's hooked up our color texture to the color in the alpha. And it's also popped in our normal map here. Now, this is what I want to explain to you guys with the normal map. When you import a normal map into View, your gamma settings are going to be incorrect. Your normal map is not going to look right if you don't change this setting. So you want to go into your gamma, which is that little gamma symbol here on the corner underneath the circle. The circle, the white circle on the black background, that's for an alpha map or do an inversion. The gamma is the one just underneath of it. So you want to jump into the function editor here, select a normal map, open up the gamma. You don't want system gamma because system gamma is either 1.8 or 2.2. And that's incorrect for a normal map. So you want to go override gamma and set it, leave it set to 1. You see the difference in color after I did that? It makes the normal map much lighter. If you don't do that, your normal map is going to look wrong when you do a render in View. It's very important to remember. You're always going to have to do it when you import your normal map. You're always going to go into the function editor, open up the gamma control and change it from system gamma to 1. It always must be 1. The only way you can do that is by going into the function editor. So this is what I mean by View being a little bit different when it comes to material management. I like to title my my textures here as well in the function editor. So again, if anyone opens it up and wants to change anything, they know what's going on. I'm going to call this one top ring texture. Just going to copy that name. And that just names it here for anyone that looks through your functions, and they can see it quickly what exactly it is and what it's for. And I'm going to call this one top ring normal. And again, you see it's renamed it here. So we have our texture and our normal. We've changed our normal's gamma to 1. That's probably all we need to do here at the moment, so let's go OK. So let's move on to the next texture in our stack here. Again, These are the base rings. Again, we're still working on the lamp here. So we want to go into our bumps, our import normal map. And we want to load up our base rings normal map. This one here. And again, I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes to organize itself because it seems to work good. Let's call this one base ring. I hit enter when I didn't want to. Just give me a minute. Again, this is Vue version 9 being really flaky. So it just needs a minute to work itself out. Good way to see the model pieces that are separate anyway. Okay, so it's imported our bump map. We've changed our thing here, base ring. Again, we're going to change our highlight color to a white. You see, you can get an indication here of what it's going to look like. That's way too much. I'm going to pull that right back. I'm going to pull it back even more. Probably going to go to about 15% here. I'm going to go back to my color and alpha, and again I'm going to edit my function. We'll call this one base ring texture. I'm going to copy the name, and we're going to remember to change our alpha here, to 1, and we'll rename that one normal, base ring normal, for the normal map. Okay, I might just go back because I think my highlight on the first one was a bit high as well. Yeah, I'm going to pull that back to around about 50%. Let's move on to the next piece here. This one is the single ring. So let's rename it here. Let's load up our normal map. Single ring normal, that's the one we want right there. Again, we'll jump into our highlights. We're going to change our highlight color to a white. And again, we're going to pull our highlights back to around 15%. If you can't get the exact setting with the slider here, then just type the number in. We're going to jump back into our function editor here. And again, we're going to call it single ring texture. And again, we're going to jump to our normal map here, and we're going to change our gamma to 1. So override gamma to 1. Always remember to do that with a normal map. And we're going to name that normal. And again, it really does help if you've ever got to come back into your function editor to name them, because you can see quickly what they are. Okay. Let's move on to the next texture. This was lamp plug. So we're going to load up our normal map here, so import normal map. That's it there, lamp plug.normal. Again, we'll go into our highlights and we'll make our highlights more of a white. But again, we're going to pull our intensity right back to 15%. Again, we're going to edit our function. Lamp, plug, texture. And again, remember, always change our gamma back to 1. For our normal map, of course, only for the normal map. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Top circle, so those circles there, like I said, you can see highlighted in lighter red what the texture is corresponding to on the model. So top circle, that's what we're going to call this one. I'm going to copy that name while it's there. We're going to jump into our normal map and load that up. Is it this one here? Let me just cancel that for a minute. I'm just trying to work out. No. Metal top circle. Okay, that's why I was getting confused with the name. So I'm going to call it metal top circle. Okay, let's try that again. We'll import our normal map. Metal top circle. Is that our normal? Right. That's the one we want. Again, we're going to jump into our highlights and make sure that that's changed to a white. And again, we're going to pull it right back to about 15%. Again, we're going to edit our function. And we're calling that metal top circle texture. And we're going to call the normal mat metal top circle norm, the normal. We'll say normal. Remember to change our gamma. And let's move on to the next texture. Middle circle. Again, we're going to import our normal map. So occlusion, this should be the normal map here. Yep. Again, let's change our highlight color here to a white. And knock it back to 15. And again, we're just going to rename our textures here. And always remember to change our gamma for our normal map. Only for our normal map. And move on to the next texture. This is the handle. So we'll start by importing our normal. the one we want right there. And again, all these metal pieces, I'm going to take the highlight color up to a white. And generally only on the metallic pieces. The stone pieces, I'm going to leave the highlight color as black. Because the stone isn't wet, you're not going to get specular highlights on it. So maybe a shiny stone you would, but this stonework isn't shiny. We're going to take it back to 15%. And again, let's edit our function. And change our gamma. And move on to the next texture. Okay, these are small deco. These are those, I think you can't see them here too clearly, but they're little pieces of metal that jut out from underneath of the lamp here and run all the way around the outside. So small deco, so let's load up the normal map. That'll be that one right there. Again, let's change our highlight color to a white. And again, let's knock our intensity back to 15. Change our gamma. Again, this is what I was talking about with the function editor. You'll use this when you want to start creating really large landscapes, because it has all of these math modes, and that's generally what you start using when you want to create different types of terrain. They have terrain fractals, Rocky Mountain fractals, and they've added to that in the later versions of Vue, so I won't go into detail here. But yeah, this is where you'll start setting up your terrain if you want really large open terrain pieces. We changed our highlights, yep. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Curved metal deco, they're those curved pieces that run around the outside of the lamp here. Cool, curved metal deco. Let's load up our normal map. I think it's this one here. Yep. Again, let's change our highlight color to white. Basically, a metallic object, make it a white. If it's non-metallic, make it a black, and if it's something else, you might make it a grey. That just depends on what the thing is. But generally white for specular, unless you're actually using a specular map. And we'll get into that when I start doing the leaves for the vine. But I'm not using a specular map here. Let's change our normal map here though. So curved metal deco texture, and curved metal deco normal, and again remember to change our alpha, our gamma. Always make sure your gamma is at 1 on your normal map. Let's move on to the next texture. I did change my highlight, yep. And this one is called Lamp Bottom, and that's actually the bases of the lamps here inside the actual fitting itself. Again, let's import our normal. I think it's this one here, yep. And again, like I said, it's metal, so make it a white highlight and knock the intensity back to 15. The intensity slider will be very much dependent on the object and the size of the object, so don't use 15 as the default. You want to play with whatever you're creating to make it right for you. I just know with this object being so small, 15% is more than enough for the highlight intensity. Okay, we want texture on this. We want a normal on this. And let's move on to the next one. What are you? Come on. Okay, these are the urns. I'm going to leave that called urn 2. Now the urns I'm not putting a bump map on, again because there's enough detail in the urn that they didn't really need it. And I'm not changing the highlight, I'm leaving it black. So the urn can be good the way it is here. And again, I'm always leaving my scale at 1. You can start playing with your scale value here, but usually you'll use that if you're texturing up geometry like mountains and things like that. For anything that you import that you want to texture up, usually you'll leave a scale at 1. Okay, what have we got here? Okay, these are the banisters here. Now, this is a good example of, viewers always complaining about memory. Yeah. I'm feeling though we didn't. I'll just let view catch up with itself here. Oh, I think we're forgetting to change our targets to JPEGs, but we'll do that after the fact. We'll keep going the way we are, loading up our normal maps, and then we'll come back and change our TGAs to JPEGs. This is what I mean about View 9 though. It's a really temperamental beast. Because trust me, I'm looking at my resources here and I'm not even halfway through my memory on my PC, so for it to complain that it doesn't have enough memory is just silly. Normally what I suggest you do if you're working with these older versions of the software particularly is to make sure you save regularly. The reason I haven't done it while I've been on stream here is because it does take it a good 10 minutes to save out in this program, and I don't want to sit here twiddling my thumbs while it saves, so I'm throwing caution to the wind and just keeping on going. Sniper is asking me where I source my textures. A few places. I'll either buy texture packs online, I've bought a couple of those, or I'll photograph them myself. So I'll take my digital camera out, or my phone even, because the camera in most phones now is pretty good, and I'll photograph them. But I have purchased a few texture packs as well. Let me just show you. So I have a specific folder on my hard drive here that I call textures. I bought a couple of texture packs. Like these are all purchased, these ones here. So general, aged and stressed. You can buy them any like on Creative Market sells a lot of them actually. Or I'll actually take photographs with my camera. That's generally I do that. So if I'm out and about and I have my camera on me or my phone on me, then I'll just whip it out and start taking some pictures of different bits of cement or the road or a wall or a door or that type of thing. So I do a lot that way. Or also I use Google, and Google is a really good source for their image manager. You know, when you can do an image search on Google, I use that quite a bit as well. You just got to be careful you don't choose an image that's copyrighted, but you can usually tell if an image is copyrighted because it has a watermark through it. So just use Google Images to find some textures, or photograph them with your phone, or you can buy texture packs from places like the Creative Market. I'd always, like I said, you don't need to buy them though, just photograph them. If you've got your phone on you when you're walking around, take a picture of wherever you are, of the ground, the grass, the wall, that type of thing. And then you can use Photoshop if you need to make a tile. If you need to make the texture tileable, then I generally take it into Photoshop and use an offset filter. I can show you that at some stage, but if you need a tileable texture from the photograph you've taken, that's the way to go. Are they from a pack? Not all of them. Some of them are from a pack. The aged and stressed. So all of the dirt marks and stuff that you see on the model. Let me open up this image here. All of these dirt marks, watermarks, that type of thing, they're from a pack. I think it was called Aged and Stressed. But again, that's the sort of thing you can photograph on a wall and add yourself. You don't need to use a pack to do it. Just take the photograph of the smear on the wall, the watermark on the wall, or whatever it is. Take that photograph, turn it into an alpha map, so a black and white or a grayscale map, and use that as a dirt map. You don't need to buy a texture, you can even make those. They're really simple, like I said. Just take the bitmap, the photograph, convert it to a grayscale image, and then use that as a dirt map. So yeah, the watermarks and stuff, they're from a pack. The tiles, though, are not. I believe this one was these ones was just photographs that I'd used, that I'd taken with my camera. I know that the railing textures here, these green railings, they're photographs that I took. They're from a cemetery, actually. That's where these railings come from, a cemetery. That tree of life that's in the middle of the model, that was found by Google Images. These columns were again photographs that I'd taken from photographs that I'd taken. This texture here on the stairs, I think that the underlying brick is from a pack, but then all the dirt marks are laid on top of it, and they're all from either photographs that I've taken or from that dirt and grime pack that I used. So it's a mixture of both. What you see here is a mixture of some from a pack, a lot from photographs that I've actually taken. The same with the blue glass here that the lamps are using. They're photographs that I took as well. And that's actually from a piece of Konline sculpture. He's a glass maker who creates like candelabras and things. I took a close-up photograph of a piece of his sculpture. So his sculpture might be this big, but I took a photograph of just the centre of it, of the glass, and that's what I used here for the glass that's being used on the lampshades. So it's just a combination of all different bits and pieces. So that blue lampshade there, that glass is a close-up of a candelabra, a glass candelabra made by a guy called Konline. He's an artist, a glass blower. You can find textures everywhere. Like I said, you don't need to buy them. Just photograph them with your phone. Provided your phone, the camera in your phone is pretty decent. Most of them are now, so you should be good. And yeah, no problem. I'm always happy to help. And two, when you do photograph these textures, remember too to don't just stand way back and get a really wide photograph of, say, a wall. You want to get in close to the wall and take a photograph that way as well. So you can, by all means, take the wide shot of the wall, but make sure you get up close and take a smaller shot of the close-up part of the wall. And you can do that in a couple of different sections of the wall. And if you do that carefully, then you can end up with 10 textures just from one wall section. So, little tricks like that. And you'll find textures everywhere. Like I said, walking down the street, you'll come across hundreds of textures if you're careful and you photograph them. You know, don't just photograph a big wide shot, but get in close and do some photography that way as well. Particularly the closer shots, they're probably more important when you're doing texturing work. You'll find them much more useful. A lot of people might think that taking a really wide shot of a wall is the way to go, because then you just map that whole wall onto, I don't know, a plane that you're using in 3D, but you're always going to get a better texture from getting in close to the wall and taking a smaller shot of the wall. Even if you have to start repeating the texture, it's going to look better than a wide shot. So, by all means, take the wide shots, but take the close-ups as well. Remember to take close-ups. And yeah, I generally prefer to use my digital camera to take my textures when I remember, but if I've only got my phone on me, then again, I'll use my phone. It can do a good job too. Yeah, that's what I did. I built myself a library. Yep. You can never have too many textures, believe me. You'll always find a use for a texture. So over the years, as you see in my library there, I've probably got 30 different folders full of textures, and they're all different types of textures. From HDI sky panoramas to dirt textures, to brick textures, to concrete textures, all sorts of them. So it's handy to have a library. So it's good to make sure that when you are out and about, take as many photos as you remember, as you're walking around, wherever you are. It can be anywhere. It can be in the city, you can be in the country, wherever you are. Just take photos of dirt, of grass, of all that sort of thing. It all comes in useful and handy. And once you've got your texture library set up, then you're good to go. No matter what job you have to do, you've always got a texture ready to use. So yeah, in doing my ArchViz work as well, I have a library of models, which are things like beds, couches, knick-knack for kitchens. Again, that's all part of a library that I keep because I don't want to model that for each client. A couch is a couch is a couch, a bed is a bed is a bed. So I have like 30 different beds I can choose from, 100 different couches I can choose from, that type of thing for the ArchViz work that I do. When clients engage me to create an ArchViz model, they're more concerned with the building or the interior, the walls, the counters, the cupboards, that type of thing. They're not so concerned with the bric-a-brac that sits on the countertop. So I use a library of models for that. The stuff that I didn't personally create, that I purchased, or that's free online. Just for those people interested in ArchViz that might be wanting to do some work in that, yeah, it's good to have a library of furniture that you can populate a room with that you're creating for a client. But again, I tend to be doing a lot of heritage work at the moment, so that's not so... that sort of thing I haven't been using quite so much. I've been doing more actual modelling work and photogrammetry work, so... I think though, guys, we may leave it there for today. We've started the texturing up of our model here in View 9. I don't know where we're up to in it. Probably about a third of the way through texturing up the model. When I say texturing it up, all we're doing is we're naming it correctly, we're assigning a normal map to it, and we're making sure the gamma for the normal is set correctly. We'll finish doing this tomorrow, and then we're going to save this model out as a BOB, VOB, which is the format, Vue's native format for models. And once we've saved it out, we can ditch Vue version 9 and jump straight into Vue 2015, which is my preferred program. We'll import the model into that, and we can start creating our environment. So yeah, we'll leave it there for today. Tomorrow, when I'm streaming again tomorrow at 5 PM, we will finish setting up the materials on this model and export the model so we can import it into Vue 2015. So yes, I will be back on again tomorrow at 5 PM. That's Pacific time in the US, which is 12 PM in Australia, 1 PM in the UK. If you're not sure, I will be... I always post 15 minutes to my Twitter page just before I go live, so keep an eye on that if you want a reminder. Why were you timed out, Smurfberry? What were you doing? spamming symbols. Yeah, you're quite welcome. Yeah, Nightbot is in strict mode. You know, I don't want any of those spam bots popping into my chat. I want to keep a safe environment for all you guys. So, you posted a elite emoji, okay. I have to look at, I'll look at Nightbot, make sure it isn't too strict. But thank you, it's good to see you, Smurfberry. Like I said, it's always fun to see you in the chat. And you're, good night to you too, Sniper Echo. You're always in chat, and I always appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching and hanging out with me. I always appreciate it when you guys take time to sit and watch me work and chat with me. That's always great. I will be back on again tomorrow, as I said, and I wanted to thank Sniper Echo too for the donation. That was very nice of you. Thank you very much, Sniper Echo. I will be back on again tomorrow at 5 PM. Keep an eye on my Twitter page if you're not sure. Thank you guys for watching and hanging out with me. You have a good one too, Smurfberry Barbecue, and I shall see you guys tomorrow. See you guys.